The day the intern dumped an iced latte down the front of my suit and screamed that her husband was the CEO of this hospital, I did not raise my voice. I did not flinch. I simply took out my phone, looked her dead in the eye, and made one calm call. "You should come down here and see this. Your new wife is throwing coffee on me." A few hours earlier, a wide-body jet had hit the runway at Chicago O'Hare with a heavy thump that rattled the windows. After more than 8 hours over the Atlantic, the cabin lights had come back on in that polite, artificial glow that makes everyone look tired and expensive at the same time. I closed my book, slid my feet into my flats, and pulled my carry-on from the overhead bin with the kind of practiced ease that comes from living in airports more than living in one place. The moment I stepped into the arrivals corridor, Chicago smacked me with its summer heat and that familiar mix of car exhaust, pretzels, and concrete baking in the sun. People call it ugly. People call it gritty. To me, it has always smelled like home and responsibility. My name is Ramona Hale. I am 32 years old. To the outside world, I am the woman people point at in glossy business magazines and whisper about in fundraising galas. The only heir of my late mother, who built Meridian Health Partners from a single community clinic into one of the largest private hospital networks in the Midwest. I hold the controlling shares. I sign the final approvals. I carry the weight of every life saved and every scandal avoided. But the world never sees the part that matters. They do not see me sitting alone in a hotel room at 2 a.m, reading contract clauses until my eyes burn. They do not see the board members who smile for cameras while quietly counting the days until I slip. They do not see the way grief can sit in your chest like a stone even after the flowers die and the condolences stop. This trip had lasted exactly 1 month. Switzerland, then Germany, then a final stop in the Netherlands. I had personally toured factories, negotiated delivery schedules, and signed procurement terms for a fleet of next-generation imaging machines for our flagship hospital in Chicago. That responsibility should have belonged to my husband, Grant Mercer, the man currently sitting in the Chief Executive Officer chair at Meridian. Grant was handsome in the way people trust at first glance. He had the kind of smile that made donors loosen their wallets. He could charm a room full of surgeons and financiers without breaking a sweat. But when the conversation turned technical, when the negotiations got sharp, when the numbers needed to be defended line by line, Grant would fold. He would defer. He would nod and promise things he did not understand. So I had stepped into the background, like I always did. My official title was Chief Strategy Officer. In reality, I was the one clearing the path. I was the one taking the bruises so he could walk into board meetings and look like a visionary leader. A black car was waiting at the curb, the kind with tinted windows and a driver who does not ask questions. It slid down the Kennedy Expressway toward the city, past the steel and glass towers that always look like they are trying to cut the sky open. I did not go home. I should have, after a month away. I should have gone straight to my townhouse, kissed my sleeping son, and taken a shower that did not smell like plain cabin air. But something in me refused. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to see what kind of culture my husband had been running while I was gone. So I told the driver to take me to Lakeshore Meridian Medical Center, our flagship, our crown jewel, 20 floors of blue glass and polished stone on a prime stretch of the near north side, where the lake breeze sometimes makes the air feel clean for 5 seconds before the city reminds you what it is. The sign out front still carried my mother name in brushed steel letters, and seeing it always did 2 things to me at once. It made me proud, and it made me afraid. I told the driver to drop me at the main entrance, not the private executive garage. I pulled my own suitcase through the revolving doors like any other woman coming in from the street. I wanted to hear the real sounds, not the polished version that appears when leadership walks through. The lobby was alive. The announcement system called out patient numbers. Families murmured into phones. Nurses moved like they were being pulled by invisible strings. The air smelled like disinfectant and coffee and the faint metallic edge of fear that always lives in hospitals. I stood near the reception desk, adjusting the lapels of my cream-colored pantsuit, letting my eyes travel. And then I saw him, Dr. Rafael Ortiz, Chief of Cardiology, down on one knee on the marble floor, performing chest compressions on a middle-aged man who had collapsed near the gift shop. His hands were locked. His arms were straight. His face was focused in that calm, hard way that separates real healers from people who just like the title. Sweat ran down his temples. His voice cut through the lobby. "Give him space. Stay back. Let him breathe." A nurse rushed forward with a glucometer and a tray. Raphael did not look up. He was a machine built for saving lives, but there was gentleness in the way he tilted the patient head and checked the airway, like he was handling something sacred. I watched him in silence. Raphael and I went to school together. Not the same classes, not the same social circles, but the same late nights in libraries, the same coffee-stained textbooks, the same brutal exams that make you either quit or become harder than you knew you could be. He had never cared about impressing anyone. He just worked. He just did what was right. The day my mother died, it was Raphael who stayed at the hospital until sunrise, coordinating staff and calling in favors to keep the system stable while the board circled like sharks. Grant was there too, of course, smiling, shaking hands, performing grief like it was a role. Watching Raphael now, saving a stranger, I felt that familiar ache of respect. And then the moment shattered. A sharp, high-pitched voice sliced through the lobby like a cracked violin string. "Are you kidding me right now? I told you to park my car in the shade." I turned. Near the revolving doors, a young woman stood with her hips cocked and her phone held high like she was filming a music video. She was maybe 22, heavy makeup, lip filler, nails like claws, a dress so tight and bright it looked like it had been sprayed on, completely inappropriate for a medical setting. Pinned to her chest was a badge. Intern. Her name read Madison Vale. An older man in a valet uniform stood in front of her. His shoulders were bent. His hands trembled slightly. A veteran cap sat on his head, faded with years. I recognized him immediately. Mr. Klein. He had worked at Lakeshore since before my mother expanded Meridian. He was the type of employee people forget exists until the day they need him. "I am sorry, miss," he said, voice quiet. "We have been busy with ambulances. I will move it now." Madison rolled her eyes so hard it looked painful. "You move like a fossil. How do people like you even get jobs here? This is supposed to be a top hospital. 5-star. Not some bargain basement clinic." Then, without missing a beat, she spun toward her phone and flipped her expression like a light switch. Her face turned into a smile so fake it made my skin crawl. "Hi guys. Good morning. Your girl Madison is literally dealing with the most incompetent staff. But it is fine. I stay positive. I stay cute. Drop some hearts for me." I glanced at the clock above reception. 9:15 in the morning. Shift start was 8. An hour late. Out of dress code. Harassing staff. Live streaming in the main lobby like it was a stage. I felt heat crawl up my neck. That slow burn of anger that does not explode right away. It tightens. It concentrates. It waits. The contrast was disgusting. Raphael on his knees, saving a life with sweat dripping onto marble. Madison filming herself while humiliating an elderly man. I tightened my grip on my suitcase handle and walked toward them. I touched Mr. Klein's shoulder gently, letting him know he was not alone. His eyes widened when he recognized me, and he opened his mouth to greet me properly. I raised one finger. Quiet. I did not want my identity announced yet. Not until I saw how far this would go. Then I turned to Madison. "Excuse me," I said, voice low and even. "This is a hospital, not a filming set. And that man is doing his job. You are late. You are in violation of dress code. You are causing a disturbance. Put your phone away." Madison looked me up and down like I was something stuck to her shoe. "Who are you?" she snapped, loud enough for her live stream to catch. "Some patient relative. Some bored woman with nothing better to do. I am talking to my employee." Employee. She called the valet her employee. Then she shoved her camera closer to my face. "Look at this, everybody. Some bitter lady is trying to police me. You can tell she is jealous. Probably got left by her man. Now she wants to bully a young healthcare worker." The nerve of it was unreal. "Put the phone down," I said, still calm. "You do not have permission to film me. You do not have permission to film in this lobby. Put it away." Madison widened her eyes in mock innocence, then leaned closer, smile turning sharp. Or what? Then she did it. She stepped sideways like she was clumsy, like it was an accident, and slammed the full cup of iced coffee she was holding straight into my torso. Cold liquid poured down my suit. The fabric soaked instantly, turning cream into brown. It dripped down my legs and splattered onto the marble. The smell hit me. Sweet syrup. Bitter espresso. Cheap arrogance. That suit had been a gift from my mother before she died. She had handed it to me and said, "Wear it when you need to remember who you are." Now it was stained by a girl who thought she owned the place. Madison started crying. Not real crying. Performing. She threw her head back and wailed, loud enough to turn every head in the lobby. "Oh my God. You assaulted me. You pushed me. You ruined my dress." She aimed her phone at herself, tears sliding down perfectly applied makeup. "Everybody, you saw it. This woman attacked me. She is violent. She is unstable. This is what happens when you let trash walk into a hospital." People who had not seen the beginning started murmuring. A few pulled out phones. A few stared at my stained suit like it proved her story. Madison leaned close enough that only I could hear her whisper, "You are going to apologize right now, and you are going to pay for my dress." Then she smiled, teeth bright, eyes cruel. "Do you know who my husband is?" "My husband is the chief executive officer of this hospital. He will have you thrown out. Blacklisted. No doctor in this city will ever treat you again." I stared at her. For a moment, something inside me went very quiet. Not numb, not defeated, just clear. I took a handkerchief out of my bag and dabbed my hands, slow and deliberate. I lifted my chin. I looked at her like she was a clinical specimen. "You said your husband is the chief executive officer," I repeated. Madison smirked, thinking she had me cornered. "Yes, Grant Mercer. He runs this place, and he loves me, so you are done." A tall figure stepped between us. Raphael. He had just finished stabilizing the patient. A team had wheeled the man away, alive, breathing. Raphael walked over, his scrubs marked with sweat, his face controlled in that calm, dangerous way. "Why is there chaos in my lobby?" he asked. Madison instantly snapped her performance toward him. "Dr. Ortiz, thank God. This woman attacked me. She spilled coffee on me. She is harassing staff. I am live streaming so people see how unsafe this place is." Raphael did not look at the phone. He looked at the rules plaque on the wall. "Read it," he said. Madison blinked. "What?" "Read the first rule," Raphael said, voice flat. Madison scoffed but glanced over. "Respect all patients, families, and staff." "Second rule," Raphael continued. "No filming on premises without authorization." "Third, professional attire required at all times." Raphael looked back at her. "How many rules have you violated in the last 5 minutes?" Madison bristled. "I am a special case," Grant said. "I can do what I want. You are just a doctor. You are hired help." The lobby went so quiet I could hear the air conditioning hum. Raphael let out a short laugh, no humor in it. "Hired help. You are right. I am hired for skill, integrity, and patient care. And you are here doing what exactly? Performing for strangers. Humiliating staff? Using a man name like a weapon." Madison lifted her chin like she was still winning. "I am his wife." Raphael's eyes sharpened. "If you were a woman with even a drop of class, you would not stand in a hospital lobby bragging about an affair." That landed. People started whispering again, but now the whispers aimed at her. Madison's face flushed and she panicked. She lifted her phone again and screamed into it. "Grant, baby, come down. They are attacking me." I touched Raphael's arm lightly. "Do not dirty your hands," I whispered. "Let her talk. I want everyone to hear what happens next." Then I pulled out my phone. I called Grant. He answered after a long ring, voice hushed, forced warmth layered over irritation. "Ramona, I am in a high-level meeting." "Are you back already?" "Why did you not tell me you landed?" "I would have arranged a car." I put him on speaker. I turned the volume up. I did not answer his questions. "You need to come down to the main lobby," I said. Grant paused. "What?" "Right now." "I cannot. I am with the state health delegation and the investors." "This is critical." "Come down here," I repeated. "Right now." "Ramona, please," he said, tension seeping through. "Go home. Rest. We will talk tonight." I looked at Madison, who was staring at my phone with a new kind of fear, like she recognized something she did not understand. Then I said it. "You need to come down here and see your new wife throwing coffee on me." Silence. A thick, dead silence. For 1 second, I could picture him. The way his face would drain. The way his throat would tighten. The way his mind would scramble. Then he spoke, voice cracking. "Ramona, what are you talking about?" "What new wife?" 5 minutes, I said. "If you are not in this lobby in 5 minutes, my attorney will walk into your conference room with paperwork. You will not enjoy signing in front of your investors." I ended the call. I did not tremble. I did not cry. I stood there in my stained suit in the middle of my mother's hospital, and I waited. The silence in the lobby was not empty. It was loaded. Patients lingered. Nurses slowed. Security watched from the corners. Madison gripped her phone so hard her knuckles went white. "Who are you?" she whispered. I smiled at her, small and cold. "Do not stop filming," I said. "Keep it rolling. Let them see how your husband handles his legal wife." 5 minutes later, the executive elevator doors opened. Grant Mercer stumbled out like a man running from a fire. His suit was wrinkled. His tie was crooked. Sweat shined on his forehead. His eyes darted across the lobby until they locked onto me. And in that instant, I watched him understand that his life had just split open. Madison practically ran to him, clinging to his arm. "Baby, thank God. Tell them who I am. This woman attacked me. Dr. Ortiz is bullying me." Grant froze. His body went stiff under her grip. He stared at me like he was staring at a loaded gun. I tilted my head. "Grant," I said softly, "go ahead. Do what she asked. Show everyone who is in charge." Madison shook his arm, desperate. "Say it. Fire her. Call security. Make her apologize." Grant turned to Madison, and his eyes changed. Not love, not desire. Hate. Pure, terrified hate. Then he slapped her. The sound cracked across the lobby. Madison stumbled back and fell on the marble. Her phone skidded away, still recording, camera catching the ceiling lights spinning like a dizzy halo. Grant screamed at her. "Shut up. Stop. You are not my wife. I do not even know you. You are delusional." The lobby gasped. Madison stared up at him, hand pressed to her cheek, shock turning into fury. "You do not know me," she shrieked. "Then who was in my bed at the peninsula last night? Who signed the papers for the condo in River North? Who promised me you would divorce her as soon as she came back from Europe?" Grant lunged toward her like he wanted to silence her. Raphael stepped in and shoved him back with one firm hand. "Enough," Raphael said. "You are disgracing this hospital." I walked forward, slow. The click of my heels sounded like a verdict. "Grant," I said, voice flat, "you want to pretend you do not know her. Fine. Explain why her badge has unrestricted access to your executive floor. Explain why her account received $2 million from a shell vendor tied to our equipment procurement budget." Grant's face went gray. He opened his mouth, then closed it. He tried to recover. "Ramona, listen. It is not what it looks like. She is lying. She is obsessed. She tricked me." He dropped to his knees. Right there in the lobby, he grabbed the hem of my suit jacket, coffee still drying on the fabric. "Please," he whispered. "Please. 10 years. Our son. The board. Do not do this here." I looked down at him. I felt nothing but a quiet disgust. 10 years, I repeated. "When you stole money meant for patient care to buy her a condo, did you think of 10 years? Grant started sobbing. Not grief, fear. Then a familiar voice cut through the crowd. "Madam Hale." My attorney, Naomi Pierce, walked in with a thick folder tucked under her arm like a weapon. She wore a dark suit, hair pulled back tight, eyes sharp. The kind of woman you hire when you want the law to feel like a blade. She handed the folder to me. Bank statements, property contract, security footage, vendor trail, all verified, all admissible. I opened it and let the pages slide onto the floor in front of Grant. Paper scattered like fallen leaves. Numbers, names, dates, signatures. People leaned in. The truth has a smell. It smells like ink and panic. Grant stared at the evidence and made a sound like a dying animal. Madison, still on the floor, began to sob in a different way. Not fake now. Real, because she finally understood she was not the star of a fairy tale. She was the accessory in a crime. I lifted my head and let my voice carry. "My name is Ramona Hale," I said, "chair of the board for Meridian Health Partners." The lobby went still. Effective immediately, Grant Mercer is terminated from his position as Chief Executive Officer for ethical violations and suspected felony embezzlement. Security, escort him off the premises. 2 guards stepped forward. Grant grabbed at my ankle, desperate. "Ramona, please." I stepped back. "I am done," I said. And in that moment, something in me shifted, like a door closing, like a chain snapping. The silence was over. Grant was hauled to his feet and dragged toward the exit. His expensive shoes scraped on marble. His suit jacket twisted. He tried to look dignified, but dignity does not survive when truth is holding you by the throat. I turned to Naomi. "Freeze every joint asset. Lock every account. File the divorce petition today. I want him unable to move $1 without a judge permission." Naomi nodded. "Already drafted. Ready for your signature." I looked at Raphael. "Dr. Ortiz," I said, "the chief executive role cannot sit empty. We need leadership that has earned trust. Starting now, you will serve as interim chief executive officer until the board votes formally." Raphael blinked, surprised. Then he straightened. "Yes, Madam Hale." Applause erupted. It started with nurses, then physicians, then staff. Not for power, for relief, for the feeling that someone had finally cleaned the rot out of the building. Madison tried to crawl away. Naomi stepped in her path. "Ms. Vale," Naomi said, calm as a courtroom, "you are being terminated from your internship for misconduct. You will also be subpoenaed as a recipient of stolen funds. That condo will be seized. Every luxury purchase will be traced. You will return every cent." Madison shook, eyes wild. "Please." I did not know. "He told me he was going to divorce you. He said you were cold. He said you did not love him. He said he deserved happiness." I leaned down, close enough that she could smell the coffee on my suit. He said whatever you needed to hear to become useful, I said. But you still chose to humiliate an elderly man. You still chose to throw coffee. You still chose to brag about power you did not earn. Madison sobbed harder. Security escorted her out. The lobby slowly returned to motion. People went back to work. The announcement system resumed. A child laughed somewhere near pediatrics. But I stood there feeling like my bones had been hollowed out. Winning does not always feel like winning. Sometimes it feels like you just amputated a limb to survive. That afternoon, I went home and kissed my son's forehead while he slept. I washed the coffee-stained suit with shaking hands. Not because it could be saved, but because I could not stand the idea of leaving my mother gift dirty. Then the real war began, because Grant did not disappear quietly. That evening, my phone lit up with alerts. Headlines, clips, edited videos, a story spreading like a virus. Billionaire heiress attacks intern in jealous rage. Hospital coup staged by chair and lover doctor. Chief executive officer framed by wife and her boyfriend. They had taken Madison livestream and cut it like a blade. They removed the parts where she insulted Mr. Klein. They removed the part where she threatened me. They kept only my stern face. Raphael standing beside me. Grant on his knees. They poured a narrative over it like poison. Thousands of comments appeared within minutes, too fast to be organic. She looks evil. He looks terrified. The doctor is obviously her lover. Rich people always get away with it. Naomi walked into my living room with her laptop open and her jaw tight. It is a coordinated campaign, she said. Bot accounts. A black public relations firm. Funding came from a private account, but the trail is familiar. Grant moved money before we froze everything. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. He could not win legally, so he wanted to win emotionally. He wanted to stain my name so badly that the board would flinch. He wanted to pressure me into a settlement, or punish me for daring to end his fantasy. I stood. No, I said. Naomi raised an eyebrow. No to what? No to hiding, I said. No to silence. No to letting him write the story. Schedule a press conference tomorrow morning. Invite everyone. Major networks, local stations, medical journals, online tabloids, all of them. Naomi nodded once. Understood. The next morning, the auditorium at Lakeshore Meridian was packed with cameras and microphones. Reporters leaned forward like wolves. Flashbulbs popped. The air felt electric, hungry. I walked on stage in a simple black dress. No jewelry except my wedding band, still on my finger like a bruise I had not removed yet. Raphael stood beside me in a white coat, posture steady. I gripped the podium. My name is Ramona Hale, I said. I called this press conference to defend the integrity of Meridian and the staff who save lives here every day. What you are seeing online is a malicious fabrication designed to distract from documented embezzlement and abuse of power. A reporter stood. Are you having an affair with Dr. Ortiz? Did you remove your husband to install your lover? The room held its breath. Raphael reached for the microphone. He looked at me first, silent question in his eyes. I gave a slight nod. He turned to the room. Dr. Ortiz, he said. Chief of Cardiology, Interim Chief Executive Officer as of yesterday. I will answer. He paused, voice low and steady. Ramona and I have been colleagues for years. Friends. Trusted partners in patient care and leadership. There has been no affair. He inhaled once, but I will not hide one truth. I have cared about her longer than I should have allowed myself to. I kept it silent because she was married. Because she deserved peace. Because this hospital deserved stability. I never crossed an ethical line. I never touched what was not mine. The room shifted. Not scandal. Not excitement. Respect. Raphael continued. We withheld additional evidence yesterday to preserve Mr. Mercer's dignity. He has chosen to weaponize lies, so we will no longer protect him. A screen lit up behind us. Documents. Vendor trails. Wire transfers. A timeline. Raphael pointed. This shows the procurement budget for critical equipment. Payment was authorized, then diverted to a shell entity. That shell wired funds to a luxury property transaction. The purchase date aligns with the supposed emergency deposit request Mr. Mercer signed while Ms. Hale was overseas negotiating directly with manufacturers. The reporters scribbled. Cameras zoomed. Raphael turned back to them. This was not a marital dispute, he said. This was theft from patient care. It delayed equipment that saves lives. I took the microphone again. I will not argue on the internet, I said. I will argue in court. We have filed for divorce. We have frozen assets. We have submitted evidence to the district attorney. Meridian will cooperate fully. Then I leaned forward, voice dropping. And to the people spreading edited clips, I have one question. If you were the one who built a hospital, who carried it through grief, who protected it while someone you trusted stole from it, would you stay silent to look polite? Or would you cut the cancer out in public so the body could live? By noon, the narrative flipped. Not because of my anger, because of receipts. The truth is not always loud, but it is heavy. It crushes lies if you let it land. Grant was arrested within weeks. Federal charges: wire fraud, embezzlement, misuse of funds tied to healthcare contracts. Madison was charged as a recipient of stolen funds. Her condo was seized. Her influencer career evaporated overnight. The same people who cheered her live stream called her a parasite the moment the money trail surfaced. The board tried to squirm. A few old men tried to blame me for appointing my husband in the first place. Naomi handed them a folder of internal emails showing Grant had been recommended by those same men, pushed through as a puppet they thought they could control. They went quiet. Raphael and I rebuilt. We cleaned departments. We implemented compliance checks that could not be bypassed with charm. We reinstated staff who had been punished for reporting issues. We upgraded security and prohibited filming with real enforcement. 1 year later, I stood in the atrium of Lakeshore Meridian as we unveiled a new wing dedicated to my mother, funded by donations that poured in after the scandal because people saw what we did with the truth. My son ran ahead of me, laughing, chasing the echo in the glass. Raphael walked beside me, not as a savior, as a steady presence, a man who showed up when it mattered. I finally removed my wedding band that night, alone, and placed it in a small box, not as revenge, as closure. And here is the part everyone asks me. Do I feel satisfied? Sometimes. But more often I feel something quieter, a clean emptiness where a lie used to live, a peace that comes only after you stop begging for someone to love you correctly. So let me ask you what I still ask myself on the hard nights. Was I too ruthless for detonating my husband's double life in the main lobby, in front of patients and staff? Or was that the only way to protect the hospital and the people inside it? And if you were standing in my coffee-stained suit, would you have stayed silent or would you have made the call?